Hello everybody, Planet Walls here. We are back for round 2 of Classic Quarter Classic League 2013 Qualifier Tournament 2, round 2. I think I was redundant with a round 2, that is okay. Alright, so here's our opponent's deck. Our opponent is named Two Flowers. I don't know what the flowers stand for, or if they symbolize anything. Maybe they symbolize nothing. Maybe he is just a fan of two different types of flowers. Again, we are using the Ilskin skin, which I failed to mention last time, I believe, but prominent member of the classic community and overall great guy, I believe from Scandinavia, which, you know, is neither here nor there with respect to how awesome he is, but he seems pretty awesome to me. So anyway, I really like it. I am much happier against this, like, red scratched felt. I think it looks great. Anyway, so we were playing against Two Flowers, and he is playing an Oath variant, and I think this is also a tough matchup for me. I actually think my Affinity matchup is better than this one. Chris Cool, who's playing a similar deck to mine, actually beat my last round's opponent just with some seeds of innocence. His deck was actually a little bit poorly matched up against Affinity than mine was, but I think I don't remember if he won 2-0 or 2-1, but he crushed Game Master 32. So at least we got some revenge from Team Mid-Range Jacking or Lumberamp, depending on how sexual you want to be with the name of the deck. So anyway, we're playing against Oath now, and if you're unfamiliar with this format, Oath is probably a tier 1.5 deck. It is considered to be the best control combo deck in the format, probably. The way it works is it plays an Oath of Druids, which allows it to basically filter through its deck to find a creature during the upkeep. And that it only works if target opponent, i.e. me, has a creature out, or at least more creatures than the Oath player, right? And so the deck runs very few creatures. It only runs an Emrakul and a Blightsteel. It's got this Dragon Breath, which can be filtered into the graveyard and then haste out, which is a huge problem. And then it has Forbidden Orchards to put creatures into play under my control if I don't already have them. So, then it also has a control shell of Force of Wills, 2 Missteps, and 2 Spell Pierces. The Spell Pierces don't bother me as much as the Missteps do. It's got 3 tutors here. Imperial Seal kind of sucks. Brainstorm is like kind of a tutor. I mean, obviously it's not literally a tutor, if there is such a thing as a literal tutor. There's Sensei's Dividing Top, which is like a 5th Brainstorm, but which stays on the table and is good with a lot of the other cards in the deck. There's a Show and Tell as an alternate win con to Oath, if I have a Grafdigger's Cage out, which I have in the sideboard. There's a Tinker, which is an alternative way of getting Blightsteel on the board, and can also find part of the Vault Key combo, which serves as an alt-win condition. The final alt-win con is Jace, which is also good for creature control and card draw. He's got 2 Cabal Therapies, which are pretty good in Classic League, because you can see your opponent's decks. An Echoing Truth to deal with permanents on the board that need to be removed, and a Pithing Needle, which isn't that great against me, but can name Deathrite Shaman. Might be able to name something else, too. I'll have to think about that. His mana base has 1 basic land, which is one of the ways that I can angle to beat this deck, because I have 4 Magi, depending on what sort of Latin pronunciation you're going with, but he's also got 4 Lotus Petals as an alternate way to force through an Oath or another card to win the game, so that's something to watch out for. He's got 2 other artifacts versus mana and Mana Crypt and Soul Ring, 4 strip effects, and then 5 dual lands with 6 fetches, and then the 4 Forbidden Orchards, which can add mana of any color. So, Magus of the Moon is an important card to land against him, but he can easily land a Lotus Petal, and also Sensei's Dividing Top helps him card filter, at least see a little bit more of his deck, even if I have a Magus of the Moon out. So, this is a tough matchup for me, not going to lie, especially after board, because Blazing Archon is extremely difficult for me to deal with. So if he lands that, it's very hard for me to win afterwards, but he doesn't have much else that's good on the board. That's our opponent right now. So he doesn't bring in anything against me except for maybe a Mystical Tutor and a Blazing Archon, and these Ancient Grudges are terrible against me because I'm only running a couple of artifacts. Also bad against me is, let's see, there's something else I thought. Like, these Spell Pierces are pretty mediocre, because I'm almost running all creatures. They only counter, like, Summoning Traps, essentially. So, my guess is he boards out the Ancient Grudges. Maybe he keeps in 1 and brings in a Mystical Tutor. Or he boards out his creatures and puts Blazing Archon in, but that leaves his deck weak in other ways, so I don't know exactly what he's going to do. Maybe he boards in Nature's Claim just as a way to gain himself life if he has a Mana Crypt out. We will see how he sideboards, but I look forward to the match anyway. This could be essentially what knocks me into the loser's bracket of Classic League, but hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, and we are in game. Our opponent Looks like they are on the play, which is bad for me. We are on Colonian Hydra plan, it looks like here. And this plan is fine. I think. Like, he could counter it, though. That's kind of spooky. We don't have a summoning trap, but I am going to keep this hand. We only have one way to knock out his Oath, and that's Thunderscape Battle Mage, and we don't have our Fauna Shaman in hand. If he goes for an artifact win con, we can knock off, like, the Voltaic Key early, or maybe screw up his mana base. So I'm going to keep this hand. No, we're not mulliganing this. He mulled to 6, though, and he is keeping the 6 card on the play. So his hand could be good, it could be terrible. I would really like to see a Magus the Moon right off the bat. So there are a bunch of cards I would want to draw. I would also like to draw a Summoning Trap. I don't want to draw a land. Now, Thrun is a fine card to draw. Probably not the best card to draw, but certainly okay. The question here is, do I want to play out a Lumberjack? Like, I kind of don't want him to kill my Forest, but I also have another draw. And I have Bloom Tenders to produce mana. So if he lands a Wasteland, I think I'm probably okay with what happens. Maybe I'm not okay with that. I just would rather name something other than Orc with this. So I kind of wish I had one more land in hand. One more Forest land. If he Mental Missteps the Lumberjack, I'm actually okay with that too. But I could play around the Mental Misstep too. You know what? Let's go for a turn 2 Colonian Hydra or Thrun. Let's not do any fancy shit. So we're naming Orc here. He can Force of Will my Hydra if he wants, but I'll probably just play the Thrun instead, depending on what he does on his turn. So let's Lumberamp time. Given that he has a stop here, either he's going to Brainstorm this turn, or he was planning on countering something but couldn't. Or maybe he's just reading this card. That's a possibility. Alright, so we're going to have access to 5 mana on this turn. I would really like to see a Summoning Trap now. The Thrun was a pretty decent draw. What's this going to be? Brainstorm? That's good. He had to crack a fetch for a Brainstorm, which makes me believe he's, I don't know, looking for something. He could also land another land, a Lotus Petal, and an Oath. That would be the worst thing for me, I think. Especially if he has counter backup. Now, he did get a basic. That means that Magus is significantly worse, but that's okay. We get a Deathrite. That's actually pretty good. I'm really tempted to play the Deathrite this turn, and then a Thrun. I think that might be what I do, blowing my... Because he could definitely counter this, but he can't counter the Thrun. But the Thrun just isn't that fast. Then again, I would have another land in the shape of Deathrite Shaman. That could be a bad play. But I can land a Bloom Tender next turn, I can produce 3. So, like, Bloom Tender is going to be pretty sexy right here. Yeah. We are going to play a Deathrite, see what happens, whether it resolves. And then my plan is to play a Thrun. And just start the race. Because I'm guessing by his set of plays, he doesn't have an Oath right off the bat. Okay, Deathrite just made it down. That's pretty good. Maybe Colonian Hydra would too. So now I'm a bit anxious about whether I want to Bloom Tend. I kind of wasn't prepared for that. Wasn't prepared for the resolution of that spell. So, do I get the Thrun beats on, or do I play a Bloom Tender and an Orcish Lumberjack here? I actually don't know. I can't do both. Like, it's a matter of how much damage I want to do quickly. Thrun obviously creates a situation where if he plays a Jace, it doesn't do anything. But the Bloom Tender lets me fire out a Hydra potentially next turn. This is a hard decision for me. He could Pithing Needle. Let's see what his options are. Cabal Therapy. Neither of those is exceptional. He just needs to find an Oath at this point, and I'm in trouble, or maybe a green mana source. So do I play a Thrun, or do I play a Bloom Tender? Maybe I should have just tried to fire out the Hydra there. Nah, I think that wasn't really a safe play. This deck is harder to play than, like, this decision is extremely key right now. Bloom Tender could get countered, too. I think that would be okay. Yeah, let's play out the Thrun. I want to get... that's multiple turns until Hydra comes down, though. I kind of want to play the Jack and the Bloom Tender. That makes me really nervous, though. Because, like, firing out a Thrun isn't as good as powering out a Colonial Hydra. Huh. Alright. We are going to go with the Bloom Tender plan, I think. No, but if that fails, then I can't power out the Thrun the next turn. So, we'll make a Thrun right now. Alright, let's ship this. He could just race this. So I'm not sure like how powerful Thrun is here, because I didn't follow this up with a land. Okay, this is upkeep. That's bad. My guess is he finds a green mana source and then lands an Oath. Otherwise, he wouldn't be playing this during upkeep. And then that would leave the correct play to have been the Hydra. So here comes an Oath, almost assuredly. Yeah. Okay. So that leaves me in something of a bad situation. Yeah, we can't do anything with that. And the Magus came out a little late. So what can I do this turn? I guess play a Bloom Tender, but that's so slow. We might want to maximize the number of permanents we can drop on the board now and hope that he finds a Blightsteel without being able to smash our face. Let's think about this. Thrun has to be attacking, putting him at 13. If he hits Dragon Breath, do we just lose? Because he could hit a Blightsteel or he could hit Emrakul. If he hits Emrakul, Dragon Breath, I think we lose. If he hits Emrakul, no Dragon Breath, we have a chance to smash his face for one turn, maybe two if I can land a Hydra. Then the following turn, though, he gets a Blightsteel too, and that's really bad. Okay, I think we make a Bloom Tender here. That's so bad, though. Bloom Tender will allow us to start dealing a little bit of extra damage with the Deathrite Shaman, which might be relevant. So I guess I should have gone balls to the walls and assumed he didn't have counter backup. But it really seems like he does. And he let that resolve. So, like, the question is, he could hit Blightsteel and Dragon Breath. We might just have to play as though he doesn't have a Dragon Breath to hit here, which might be bad. But I think dealing as much damage as possible is the only way we have out here. It's too bad that I didn't draw another land. So I guess if he hits Blightsteel, Dragon Breath, we just lose. And he did hit Blightsteel, Dragon Breath. So, yeah, that's going to be it. What could I have done had he not hit the Dragon Breath? Or if I kept this guy back to block? I would have had to block with these two. He would go down to 7. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with the series of plays I made there. Except for early on. I think I should have powered out the Hydra and just tried to win that way. So we lose this game. Again, I'm confident about that last turn's play, because I think just pushing through the extra 1 damage was probably right instead of blocking, but earlier my decisions were different. So these come in. I need to think about Storm Breath. These probably come in. Aladdin is actually a possibility. This, I think Arashi is one of our only ways of dealing with a Blazing Archon, so it probably has to come in, and Mistcutter is pretty decent. So let's look at what we have going on here. Molder Slug sucks pretty bad, so does Kazul. Caldera Hellion is also pretty horrible. Flame Tongue is horrible. Caustic Wasp is horrible. These Seeds of Innocence are horrible. Hammer Mage is really horrible. So this is 55 cards. We're bringing in at least these. The Storm Breath deals damage very quickly. So the other thing that's funny is that Summoning Trap and Grafdigger's Cage are in Nambo, but I think I might leave them both in anyway. It's unclear to me. Just because if you have a Grafdigger's Cage down, you're probably winning anyway. So then the question is, like, is that dragon better than a Scavenging Ooze? And I think the answer is yes. Aladdin creates a situation where I can take his Blightsteel, but or like Time Vault. I think that sounds really bad, and I think he might board out a lot of his creatures and just leave the Archon in. Basically leaving me with a fail state if Oath happens. We need to bring these in against Blazing Archon, I guess, as blockers. So then I need to cut one more card. The Mistcutter seems good enough, just because it can, like, wreck a Jace. And Rurik Thar is actually fine if I can power it out early. It might create a situation where you can't win the game, really. So I need to cut one card, essentially. This Thrun sucked. I was disappointed with Thrun in this matchup. It's not horrible, but, like, it just doesn't do enough fast enough. So we're cutting that guy. Maybe that's disappointing. And I guess that just shows you that I think that I misplayed the last game, which is fine. What are we going to do here? Are we going to keep this hand? Yeah. We're going to hope to be able to wreck his mana base with a Magus, but I'm not sure how good that's going to be. We'll see. We also have a situation where we can Fauna Shaman some stuff up. That's okay. So this guy could get countered. We'll see. Didn't. We don't have a Grafdigger's Cage in our hand, but he also kept a hand on the play. So hopefully he doesn't power out an Oath right now. That would suck. Please find a... Ah! Dang it! I did not want him to find a basic land there. So the question this turn is it better to Fauna Shaman or just Magus? It might be extremely greedy to play Fauna Shaman, but I actually don't think it is. The problem is, once I play the Magus, I run out of green, and I can't play anything for green. And so then I'm just beating him down with red creatures, and I can't Fauna Shaman. But then the other question is, like, what am I going to do with a Fauna Shaman? Like, I guess I could find... Well, if I play the Fauna Shaman, I can search for a Thunderscape Battle Mage. And if he had a counterspell, he would counter the Magus anyway. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the Fauna Shaman play, because I think that's going to be right. It's hard for me to say for certain, but I think that that's right. Okay. And so, that way if he plays an Oath, we just kill it. And, hang on, I'm going to load up my own deck here. And what if we board it in? Did I take the Caldera Hellion out? I hope I did. Arashi is something we might need to look for, maybe Mistcutter. But primarily what I'm thinking about is the Thunderscape Battle Mage. So he could play an Oath this turn. That would be okay with me, like I said. Because then I think I pitch the other Fauna Shaman, I just try to kill the Oath, and that's how we try to take advantage of this. And if he had a counterspell, he would have countered the Magus anyway. What we really hope we draw, I think, is Cavern of Souls. Because that gives me a ton of flexibility. Demonic Tutor. We aren't going to know what he's looking for here, are we? Interesting. Because I'm not going to be able to search with the Fauna Shaman and play a Magus at the same time unless I crack a forest. But then I won't be able to crack the forest to play the Battle Mage. So depending on what he's just searched for, I could be in serious trouble or not. He could have just searched for a Tinker. And that might be really hard for me. And then Magus doesn't do anything against Tinker. So that's a serious question. Could we find another proactive creature this turn? So let's say I found a Storm Breath Dragon and attacked. What does that accomplish? I'm not sure what that does. Or what if I find a Colonian Hydra and I just cast it? If it gets countered, what happens? So we'll play this. If I play a Colonian Hydra and it just gets countered, I think that's really bad. That means I've sacrificed any damage that I'm dealing to him, used a search. Because, like, this is 6 mana total, so it'd be search and use up my turn. So I could search for either Storm Breath Dragon or Colonian Hydra. The question is, like, does either do enough? I don't think he would have looked for a Show and Tell, because that's pretty horrible to Fauna Shaman. So, like, the real question is, do I want to drop a Magus this turn? Because that screws my whole mana plan. Or this turn, do I just plan on Fauna Shamaning? Because if he has a counter spell... Okay, here's my assumption. My assumption is that he just searched for an Oath. But he can't play it right now. So I'm going to play out a Magus of the Moon, leaving me unable to search and hoping he will blow a counterspell on it. Because I think he has to have a counterspell for Magus of the Moon. And then if it resolves, he won't be able to Oath. If it doesn't resolve, it means that I can then search for a Thunderscape Battle Mage and he's spent a counterspell. So I'm going to play this before combat. And if I need to, I can crack a forest with Lumberjack to search with Fauna Shaman later. But this lets me know what he's going to do. It's also possible he has Lotus Petal in his hand. I mean, I'm just hoping he doesn't have Lotus Petal Oath in his hand, but doesn't seem as likely. If he played the Lotus Petal out last turn, I could have killed it with a Tin Street. I mean, this really could be also a Tinker plan, which would essentially just cause me to lose the game. So, now there won't be any more searching with Fauna Shaman, so we're just going to get in there. Like, playing Magus after he just had a chance to tutor might be bad, but I'm also hoping that he may have just looked for a land. Like, he can't play Jace. Okay, good. I mean, having the option of brainstorming still sucks. Like, the fact that he has this basic island, but he's going to have 3 turns to pull out of this with a Lotus Petal Oath and then attacking, and I feel okay, especially when I have a second one of these and I can also play another dude soon. We can also draw a basic forest and make some extra stuff happen. There's a Pithing Needle. Is that going to name Fauna Shaman? That's not so bad. I can't even use the Fauna Shaman right now. Maybe he's just planning on tinkering that away, though. That really could be the case. Wooded Foothills is just a mountain. That's okay. We're going to attack for 5 here. And then we're going to follow it up by playing 4 more Power of Creatures. It's unfortunate we won't be able to kill the Pithing Needle. But that's okay. If he tinkers, we might still be able to pull off this game. Oh, actually, I can't play this. Can I? Yeah, because I don't have any green right now. So we're not playing as many creatures, unfortunately. That's okay, I suppose. We'll play a second Magus. Not sure if that's right, because having this Magus die might have been one of the ways I could have gotten out of this. And now we could be looking at a Tinker plan here. This is definitely reading Tinker. But he would have definitely done it. So that's good. Magus is really good. And that is a really good card to just draw. So we're going to crash with everybody. And then I'm going to play the Tin Street, see if I can draw a counter spell. And then play the Cage. Actually, I should play the Cage first because of Spell Pierce. Alright, so that's pretty good. I don't think he's going to win at this point. So we just played a bunch of, like, red-green load... What the hell just happened? Just Ancient Grudged? Think I'm okay with that? What could he possibly do to beat me this turn? I don't think he's got anything. He's got 3 colorless lands. Okay, great. So he took that game on the draw, which is strong. Scavenging Ooze, I have to think about whether or not I want that, because it's like a pretty good creature in terms of growth, like just bashing real quick. Thrun, Aladdin. This guy I'm seriously thinking about, because it makes his Tinker plan kind of horrible. Like, Hammer Mage can actually kill his Lotus Petal, so it's not as bad as one would think. Same with Caustic Wasps. Like, it can combo Quasi with the Magus. I just don't think that's strong enough. I'd rather have these guys. I could, like, board out a Mana Guy. Like, I'm not sure how good Mana Guys are in this match, like the birds. I guess they can ramp you into Magus, and they're good with Magus out. I'm gonna... Oh, this guy needs to come in. He should have come in last game. That was really silly of me not to bring him in. That's one of the whole reasons he's in this deck. Rurik Thar just costs so much. Like... So that was a mistake not bringing this guy in, but that's okay. Another question would be, like, do I really want to play... Do I want to bring in all 3 of these? Like, his blue cards are not that phenomenal. I'm going to cut one. Like, I just think, like, keeping stuff back just isn't good. I mean, they can counter, like, a Key Echoing Truth. We've got a Cage in this hand. That's pretty strong. Alright, so this is a Fauna Shaman style hand. I think that's okay. Looks like he's keeping his Ancient Grudges because of the Grafdigger's Cages. We won't mulligan this. The question is, like, what do I lead off with this? Oh, that's bad. Okay, so that Lotus Petal neuters my Magus in a lot of different ways. And he could just play an Oath right now. That wouldn't be the end of the world. Because we've got a Cage method of dealing with it, and also a Fauna Shaman to search for Thornscape, or Thunderscape Battle Mage. So if I play this and it resolves, I do not want to draw... Okay, there's the Oath. That's okay. So now playing a creature is super bad. So, like, the question is, do I just run out a Grafdigger's Cage? I don't think waiting does anything. I might as well see how that goes right now, right? If he Wastelands, I think I'm totally okay with that. So, like, I almost would rather he Wasteland, I think, because I've got enough lands here forever. I can't play a creature. So let's move all these things off to the side. The question is just which land do I want to play? I think we just dropped a forest. Okay, it resolved. That's good. I mean, he could kill that right now. I'm okay with that. Like, the question is, do I want to next turn drop 2 mana guys? Or do I want to not play a creature? And then just build up to the Magus? Because I think he would have countered this had he had the chance, the Grafdigger's Cage. So, it's probably the best idea to just play out the Magus, I think. And not play a creature this turn. I mean, what can he do with his current setup, though? Yeah, I better wait and play out the Magus next turn, because... Well, what if I play out a guy this turn? What happens? His Oath can't work. What does he have that he could... Sorry about looking at his deck. I think this is probably the right play. Let him know I'm thinking. Let's load up his deck. Yeah, that's fine. We'll continue without saving. Okay. So, yeah, these didn't come out. He has Cabal therapies, too. That's something worth noting, because he could therapy me. What could he do that really screws me? He could Ancient Grudge on his turn after I play creatures. No, he can't Ancient Grudge. Yeah, he can. He could Ancient Grudge. So what happens if he Ancient Grudges? If he plays a land and Ancient Grudges my cage after I play 2 creatures. Then he's got an Oath out, and I can't do anything, right? Unless I play the Fauna Shaman, in which case... If I play the Fauna Shaman, then can I quickly enough tutor? No, I don't think so. Damn. Don't know what to do. I could be throwing this game right here. Hopeful I'm not doing that, but it's possible. Because if he Ancient Grudges and I've already committed to playing the creatures... Wait a minute, he can Ancient Grudge anyway because the Magus makes his lands into mountains. Okay, I am glad that I just realized that. So we are going to, I think, play a Birds and a Lumberjack. Or do we play the Fauna Shaman? No, we definitely play the Birds and the Lumberjack. And we find a Taiga here. I'm glad I realized that, because turning his lands into mountains keeps Ancient Grudge pretty good. And plus, then this Magus is out. Well, that's scary. That's not so scary. Him just looking for a Brainstorm means he's just looking for something to do. And the cage keeps him from doing anything super relevant. We don't want him to play a fetch land or a basic island this turn. Like, the other question is, did I want to play a Fauna Shaman that turn? The answer is possibly. Okay, so he did play a fetch, so he's going to have blue available. And he can always Ancient Grudge this, which is not good for us. Okay, let's see what we draw. Hopefully not a Summoning Trap, though that card also sucks. We're going to probably want to find a basic forest with this. How much mana do we have available this turn? We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 available. Yeah, this is going to want to find a basic forest, almost assuredly. All right. And then do we actually play out the I think what we do this turn is we attack with a Lumberjack, we play out a Magus, and we have to play out the Fauna Shaman, I think, right? Yeah, I think so. Alright, so we'll drop this. See if this gets countered. Then we have 5 more mana. Okay, so then make another LJ. And then finally we crack our Taiga and we make a Magus. Oh shit, I just played the last creature. So now I have to draw a creature to even use Fauna Shaman. That's horrible. Okay, AJ's punting games over here. You guys like watching me punting games? This guy should not have come into play. That's terrible. I mean, he could just right now crack. Is he going to do it? Is he going to blow the Grafdigger's Cage? Because if he has an Ancient Grudge, I'm in some serious trouble. Oh, God. Playing this Lumberjack is going to friggin' cost me the game. No! If I can draw a creature, we can Zealous Conscripts this, but I have to draw a creature. Please, please, please. We did. Okay. And it has to resolve, of course. So we're going to discard this. Man, giving him red mana sucks. Here's our chance to get out of this. This is still pretty cool. The other question is, do I want to use... Please don't click on the wrong thing. Mistcutter Hydra. So Mistcutter Hydra can be how big right now? He's going to Oath again, though, and find a Blightsteel and maybe just attack me. I can't afford to do that. We're doing the Zealous Conscripts plan. This is such a cool plan. We have to do it. Okay. So... and we're going to have to blow one of our forests. Does this resolve? Yes! Alright! That felt pretty good. So, punting incomplete. I don't think you can do anything with this mountain. Alright. I was pretty excited about that because I thought I threw that game away. Well, I mean, maybe technically I did. But, worked out because we're attacking with his Emrakul, which is pretty sweet. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. We managed to take this game in a surprising twist of fate. I guess. I don't know. I may have made like 10 play mistakes there. But, alright. See you for round 3 next week.